Well, the Stanley Cup Finals are officially over. Another NHL season has officially hit the books, and Lord Stanley has been handed out. And with that, another cycle has been complete. St. Louis's legacy of failure, 52 years, finally a cup. The legacy of failure is officially over. All the memes about St. Louis constantly choking and underachieving the playoffs are gone. St. Louis's 2 Stanley Cup losses to the Canadiens, gone. St. Louis's first round playoff eliminations that they've known like the back of their hand, gone. St. Louis's 1970 finals loss to the Bruins and the Bobby Orr goal, gone. St. Louis's almost move to Saskatoon is gone, wiped from the books. All those times St. Louis got owned like slaves by the Red Wings and the Blackhawks, gone. St. Louis's 24-year playoff streak where they did next to nothing, it's gone. All the chapters in the St. Louis's legacy of failure, gone. St. Louis has finally done it. They win a cup. Ryan O'Reilly is the Conn Smythe winner. St. Louis finally has another championship sports team, which they desperately needed after the St. Louis Rams moved to Los Angeles when Stan Kroenke fucked the city over at the 11th hour. The first championship St. Louis has won since the Cardinals at, I think it's 2011. But yeah. Congrats to the St. Louis Blues. Congrats to all the St. Louis Blues fans, of course. Very well deserved, because, folks, think about where this team was in January. In January, this team was dead fucking last in the league. Right in the basement of the NHL. They were left for dead on the side of the road. Hell, a lot of people were calling for their heads, saying that they should trade off their team, blow it up, and do a 3 to 5 year rebuild. St. Louis then chose not to listen to any of those people. And then they hit a switch. They battled back from that adversity, and then stormed right into the playoffs. And in the playoffs, they happened to get hot at the right time. And after a hard-fought battle with the Bruins, they get it done in 7 games. And now we're going to have to hear Boston fans make excuses for this. I'll say it right here, Boston Bruins fans. There's no excuse for this. You simply got beat fair and square. St. Louis deserved it and earned it fair and square. The refs didn't even really call a penalty all game. It was pretty much dead even. Like, they just called it down the middle. They let you play at it. They let you have at it, boys. They like, you know what? Have at it, boys. Because there's been a lot of questionable reffing. And yes, Boston fans, I do know about the missed call in Game 5. I'll explain it to you. There was a Bruins player blocking the ref's vision. So the ref obviously could not see that trip. But really, Boston, you want to bitch about missed penalties. And yet, there were so many penalties that should have been called on the Bruins this entire series that weren't called. And by the way, Boston, your team also happens to play host to the dirtiest player in the league in Brad Marchand. Honestly, go cry me a fucking river. Maybe you can also add Brad Marchand to lick your wounds in the process. Like, god damn. But every time the Boston team loses, it's always excuses, excuses, and more excuses. Like, fucking man up and learn to take a loss instead of fucking making excuses, you sore losers. Fuck. God damn it. Like, god damn. Actually grow a pair of balls for once, and actually man up and pay your congrats and credit where it's due. Fuck. No wonder people think Boston fans are the worst fans in sports. Honestly, I'd say Chicago fans are a lot worse, but I don't know. You can make a convincing argument for either fan base. I don't know. Take your pick, though. Take your pick on who you think the worst fan base is in all of sports. Some will say Chicago. Some will say Boston. Some will say Philly. You can make arguments for either of those three. But Boston, I would say be proud of your season. But you know what? You should be disappointed, Boston. This could have been your best to last chance to win the cup with this core before you have to rebuild. Because you look at this core, a lot of the star players are aging rapidly. A lot of them are on the other side of 30 and might be starting to digress now. So this could have been your last shot because in a couple years, you're going to have to go through a 3 to 5 year rebuild cycle. So you know what? Unless you can prove me wrong and somehow make it back here, you probably will because, you're a Boston team that wants to win championships. Make as many excuses as you want, Boston. You've already been spoiled with enough championships already. Not only this year, but in this millennium. You already had the Red Sox win the World Series last year, and you had the Patriots win the Super Bowl almost 4 months ago. Thank God Boston didn't get the quadfecta. I don't think anyone could have fucking handled it. But yeah, I think I just gave my little mini rant on the Bruins real quick. Hell, I said I was gonna jinx the Bruins. When I picked the Bruins to win in 5 games. Hey, you can call me the Jinx Master. Because you know what? The jinx worked. How about that? I know how to jinx a team. Now the question is, for the NBA Finals, can I officially seal the jinx deal on the Warriors? Gonna have to wait and see on that one. But yeah, so another legacy of failure falls in the NHL. 2nd year in a row, we crown a first-time Stanley Cup champion. Last year, the Capitals ended their 44-year legacy of failure. And now the St. Louis Blues end their 52-year legacy of failure. And now for the longest cup drought in the NHL right now, it all stands with Toronto. Toronto is now on an island on their own. St. Louis Blues fans, as a Red Wings fan, congratulations, and may you enjoy my salt and tears from the finest of cups. Congratulations, hope you play Gloria all night long. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up here on another NHL season. We got the draft coming up in a couple weeks, so we ain't fucking around no more. But yeah, this time I give my congrats on the Blues real quick. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, folks. Could we see another legacy of failure end in the NBA tomorrow? We're gonna have to wait and see. And now the question is, with the Capitals and Blues now ending their legacies of failures, who will be next to follow in their footsteps and end their failure in the process? Gonna have to wait and see. That'll be a question answered for another day. But anyway, that's all I gotta say, folks. Hope everyone has a great day. Congrats to the 2019 Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues. Peace out.